All right, what is good, my Crypto Shack fam? We're going to do something a little different starting this week. As some of you might have seen or heard, Less Than Special and I have been co-hosting a Wednesday weekly spaces where we're talking all things PGA Tour and Draft Kings and helping you with your lineups. Try and win some money. So we're going to be doing that each Wednesday. And I'm also going to be doing this weekly recording, which will be going on YouTube, and you're welcome to come and watch it every Wednesday evening just before the tournament starts and hopefully help you pick some winning lineups. Let's hope. That's the goal. That is the objective after all. So let's dive right in. We've got the John Deere Classic this week at TPC Deere Run. What an interesting week we've got. This is not the most challenging golf course. In fact, it is definitely one of the easiest courses on tour. And this week we happen to see one of the weakest fields that we'll see all season long. You can get an idea by just looking at the salaries for the top. We only have 4 guys over 10,000 on DraftKings. And those 4 guys, we've got Webb Simpson, Adam at 10.6, Adam Hadwin at 10.4, Theegala at 10.1, and Jason Day at 10,000. I mean, when have we ever seen Webb Simpson at number 1? It's been years. And I don't think we've ever seen Theegala or Jason Day above 10K either. So as for the golf course, TPC Deere Run, we've got the rough cut to about 4 inches, which is very similar to what we saw last week at the Travelers. We typically see guys who are more accurate drivers of the golf ball winning here at the John Deere each year. Now, that's not to say that a bomber cannot do well here, but let's just look at the previous winners, the list of winners out here. You know, it's guys like Steve Stricker, Lucas Glover, Zach Johnson. These are the guys that tend to perform well year after year here. And these are your more accurate straight and shorter hitters. So that being said, let's dive right in and look at the field this week. As I mentioned, only 4 guys over 10K. We'll start with Webb Simpson. Webb is a guy that I used to play all the time. Up until about a year and a half ago when he was injured, and we just really didn't hear much from him over the last year and a half. But let's look at what he's been doing recently. He had a 13th place finish last week at the Travelers. He is gaining strokes in, all of his last 5 significantly, last 10, last 20 even. He missed the cut at the US Open, which, you can overlook that. But then you've got a 20th at the PGA, a 27th at Charles Schwab. Yeah, so it looks like he's back in form, and his putter's back. He's a great approach shot, iron player. Yeah, look at his strokes gained approach, his strokes gained off the tee to green. He's just solid, right? Now, I still have a very hard time with him at 10.6, being the highest priced player. So I'm going to be fading Webb this week. Next, we've got Adam Hadwin, a bit of a streaky player that we don't typically see above 10K. I'm not sure he's ever been above 10K, to be honest with you. He has made 4 straight cuts, and his best finish being at the US Open, where he finished 7th. 35th, you can see, at the Canadian Open. But yeah, the US Open was his last start. And look, he's made 8 of 10 cuts. So he's playing pretty decent golf. His best run was back in March here, where we can see that he had 3 straight weeks inside the top 10 with the 4th at the Valero. And he's faded a bit since then, but strong finish at the Open. So I'm looking for a strong finish here out of Adam Hadwin this week as well. Let's go to Theegala, who is third highest priced on DraftKings. And the fact that Theegala is third, again, just goes to prove my point of how weak our field is this week. Unless you really follow the PGA Tour, you probably don't even know who the hell Theegala is. But let's just take a look at how he's been playing. You can see his strokes gained total is trending up significantly. You can't overlook this guy, right? He finished second last week at the Travelers, had a great chance to win it until the 72nd hole. So he has not proven that he can get the job done and win out here on tour, but he's starting to be a force to be reckoned with every single week. Quite surprisingly, we've got 10 straight cuts made. So he has clearly figured something out, and he's firing on all cylinders right now. You just can't ignore him. I don't know how heavy I'm going to have him, being that he's over 10K, but I'll have him in a few of my lineups. Let's see here. Rounding out the 10K range, we've got Jason Day, another surprise. I mean, gosh, Jason Day, here's the kind of guy that, similar to Webb, I had been playing him almost every single week up until 2020. This was when his vertigo really started to bother him. He's got a bad back. The guy is hit or miss. He's 2 weeks off, 1 week on. For all we know, he could withdraw 15 minutes before his tee time tomorrow. And that's the really scary thing about Jason Day. He's also the kind of player that when his back is feeling good, he'll come out and he'll contend anywhere. He tends to play best on the tougher golf courses. But let's not forget, Jason Day is a former world number one. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with him because just the days of seeing him on the top of the leaderboards have been too few and far between lately. If we look at his recent stats, he's made just 4 of his last 8 cuts. It's just not good enough for me, to pay above 10K for him. So I'm going to be fading J Day this week. Yeah, he's going to have to prove a little bit more to me until I'm going to start chalking him. Let's get into the 9K range, and starting with Denny Mccarthy. In my opinion, this is one of the most interesting plays we've got in the 9K range. Let's look here. We've got a miscut last week at the Travelers, okay? But if we overlook that miscut and forget about it, look at what he's done prior. He's made 11 straight. And what's even more impressive is he's made 19 of his last 20 cuts. So the guy's undoubtedly one of the most consistent players on tour over the last 2 seasons. He's a name that people just don't talk much about. Very quiet player. Still 9,900. It's hard for me to get there with him. So again, I'll probably have him in a few of my lineups, but I am going to be mostly risk off with Denny Mccarthy. Let's look at Charles Howell. Here's another guy in the 9K range that I do like, a player that used to be there 5-10 years ago. We haven't seen much of lately, but look at these last 2 starts: an 18th at the Memorial, a 35th at Travelers, 4th at the Valero just 2 months back. So he's coming into form and he's gaining strokes. He's trending up. Let's take a look at his finishes here. So he loves TPC Deere Run. This right here, 3 cuts made in his only 3 starts here. 23rd last year, tied 6th the year before, and then 19th. So I'm looking for Charles Howell to have a top 10 here, and he'll be chalky. He's probably going to be very high owned as well, but that's what you get. So keep an eye out for Charles Howell. Let's talk about Scott Stallings. if you're looking for a guy who's got huge upside, this may be your guy. He's also probably the most streaky. He's one of those all or nothing players. You know, he finished 8th last week right here at the Travelers. Then he missed 2 cuts before that. Then he finishes 4th at the Charles Schwab. And then he misses a cut the week before that. And he finished 25th. 2 missed cuts, 13th, 16th. So Scott Stallings, which Scott's going to show up this week? Again, we don't know, but keep an eye out for him. If you're willing to take a gamble, he could be a good one at 8,900. Next, I love Nick Hardy. What's not to love, right? Didn't even know who the guy was. I don't think anybody knew who he was just a few weeks ago, but he's earned his way here up to the 8,700. He had an 8th place finish last week at the Travelers, 14th the week before at the US Open, 35th at the Canadian Open. I mean, now he's coming home to Illinois, where I have to imagine he's got a lot more confidence, and he's going to be around friends and family this week, which in golf means a lot. Just look at what happened at the US Open last week with Matt Fitzpatrick. You know, he won there at Brookline, 6-8 years ago when he won the US Am. And that's the thing with golf. It's memories, hometowns. These things can really come into play, even if for a guy who has not shown up and has no form, he could come out to a golf course he loves and win. So that's another reason I love Nick Hardy. He's got that going for him, but he's also been playing great these last couple of weeks. So I'm going to have a lot of Nick Hardy this week. Now, filling out the 8K range, we've got my favorite guys to look at here are Adam Long, Brendan Todd, Lucas Glover, JT Poston, Patrick Rogers, and Cam Davis. These are all the guys here in this 8K range whose stats tell us that they should perform very well here at the John Deere. Now, Cam Davis, he's another one of those guys. We don't know which Cam we're going to get this week, but he has only missed 1 cut, I believe, in his last 8 or 9 starts. Yeah, so take a look. He's definitely trending up. 7th at Charles Schwab, a 3rd 2 months ago at the Heritage, but then he misses the cut at the Wells Fargo, and he's had 56, 53rd, so nothing too impressive these last couple of weeks. Another guy I love here in this 8K range is Lucas Glover. Now, here's a guy who has never missed a cut at the John Deere, and he won it. This is our defending champion. He won last year. He's made 4 straight cuts, and he's feeling good, trending up. Strokes gained is not great over the last few events, but, it's all with the putter with him. If he can get the putter going, look for him to have another great week and contend. Biggest thing that scares me here with Lucas Glover is he's due for a missed cut, because if we look over time, take a look here. So he's made 4 in a row, missed a cut. And then he had made 3 in a row, missed a cut. Then he had made 4 in a row, missed a cut. Then he had made 4 in a row, missed a cut. And he had made 4 in a row, missed a cut. You notice a trend here? He makes 4 cuts, misses 1, makes 4, misses 1, and he's made 4 now. So are we going to believe that history will repeat itself here and he's going to miss the cut this week? Or is that love of the golf course and the fact he's the defending champion here, is that going to be a factor this week? And will we see Lucas Glover finish in the top 10 again? Time will tell. In my opinion, the 8K range is where it's at. I like all these guys in here, and I think we could very easily see our winner come from this 8K range. It's just stacked. But moving down into the 7K range, we've got Adam Schenk and Dylan Fratelli and Chez Reavie, who I've got chalked here. Nick Taylor is another one. Nick Taylor has made the cut here 3 straight years at the John Deere, and he hasn't finished worse than 34th, as you can see right here. So 3 straight years, 28th, 33rd, 34th. But that's about all I can say for Nick Taylor. Chez Reavie is another guy to look at here in this range. He's at 7,900. Chez, 18th last year, 39th, and 1 missed cut. But what we've got with Chez is recent form. We had an 8th place last week at the Travelers, a 27th, the Schwab, 15th, a 13th. So he's in good form right now. Look at this. Strokes gained over the last 5, almost 5. He's really playing well. So Chez, another guy, it's tough when you're getting down into this range. He could just as easily miss the cut, but he's going to be pretty chalky, and he'll definitely be in a few of my lineups. We've got another guy, Dylan Fratelli, who's won here at the John Deere just a couple of years back. That is, gosh, about all I can say about Dylan Fratelli. He's burned me so many times. He's priced at just 7,600. That's a tough call with Fratelli. I do like a little bit of Martin Laird here at 7,500. Martin is, let's pull him up here. I know he finished 13th last week, so he's coming into the week, solid form, missed the cut at the Canadian Open. Yeah, again, not much to say about Martin other than his 13th last week and the fact that he's made the cut 2 straight years and finished 28th, 37th here at the John Deere. So maybe looking for another 10th, 20th place finish for Martin Laird. You've got Steve Stricker. What a bummer. He was going to be heavy chalk, but he withdrew. So I don't know if he just was tired of playing. He almost won last week at the U.S. Senior Open. If he didn't win, I didn't end up catching the end of that, but I know he was up there in the lead coming down towards the end. Steve Stricker, he and Zach Johnson are the 2 guys that come to mind when you think of the John Deere Classic and this golf course. Zach Johnson has the best record over the last 20 years, or the lowest to par on this golf course. But Steve Stricker has won it. He did a 3-peat out here, which I don't know if that's ever been done on any other golf course. So, he won 3 straight years, 2009, 10, and 11. I think he's made the cut every year. Look at this. I mean, he's just solid. He golfs his ball when he gets out here to Deere Run, and the same goes for Zach Johnson. As I said, nobody has had more success here than Zach Johnson over the last 20 years. Not to mention, with Zach Johnson, you've got something else. The Open Championship at St. Andrews is coming up in just a week or so. The last time the Open was played at St. Andrews, guess who won? Our boy Zach Johnson, and I happened to be there and watch him win. So there's got to be something there. He's got to be in great spirits right now. The confidence is probably at an all-time high. It's going to be hard to not have some Zach Johnson in my lineups this week. Moving on further, we're really getting down here to the bottom of the barrel. Next, who did I like in here? Chesson Hadley, somebody to look at. You can see here 3 straight cuts made, decent finishes. Other than that, there's just not much to say about Chesson, although he is coming off a 5th place finish last week at the Travelers. And now moving on below the 7K range, we really don't even need to go down here, and you're really getting risky. We will undoubtedly see a few of these guys finish in the top 10. We just don't know which guys, that's going to be. I did compile a list here of the guys under 7K, my list of long shots that I'll give you. I'm just going to list these guys off pretty briefly here. Ryan Moore is another guy Horses for Courses. He loves it out here at Deere Run. Second last year, 18th, and he won it 5 years back. So you got Scott Brown at 7,000, 4 of 5 cuts and very good finishes with a tied for T4 last year. You've got Chase Seifert, 28th place last year. Vaughn Taylor. Let's take a look at Vaughn at 6,800. Again, loves the golf course. So look for Vaughn. Again, these are long shots. They could just as easily miss the cut, but guys to, maybe take at 100 to 1. You've got Brian Stewart. Here's a guy who only seems to play well at weak fields. That's it. You've got Peter Malnati at 6,600, Chris Stroud at 6,500, and Henrik Norlander at 6,600, Kelly Kraft, 6,700, Roger Sloan, 6,500, and Brandon Hagee at 6,400. Those round out my long shots for the week. And I hope this helps you with some lineups. I'm looking forward to a great week, even though we've got a weak field here. Let's make some money, and we'll see you here next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. I'm out.